into the end zone. We got to work on the chalkboard here a little bit.
I wish our audience could have seen you with that magic wand there, frantically pressing it.
Well, I was pushing it hard.
Harry Mose, no, Scott Bolton is deep for Alabama to take the kickoff for the second half. And you'll recall at the beginning of the game, Auburn won the toss and deferred the decision until this point. So Auburn now receives the football, and Jeff Berger comes back on field to lead the Tigers as they start at their 24-yard line, leading 7-0.
Jim, at the beginning of the ball game, we talked about the success that Alabama had had running the ball but unable to pass. Well, they've got 110 yards rushing offense. Auburn has not been able to run, but they've had success passing. Berger's got 96 yards in the air.
And Alabama was able to hold Lawyer Tillman to only one catch in the first half, but it was for 44 yards, followed by a personal foul, and it was a big one. Helped set up the touchdown. On first down here, Stacy Danley, one of the two freshman tailbacks who have been effective in limited bursts so far for Auburn, gets a few before Willie Wyatt, the nose tackle of Alabama, knocks him down. Call it a gain of 4. It will be second down 6.
Let's keep an eye on that Alabama defense, see what they do, see how they mix things up now, and try to put pressure on Berger.
Fullback, Reggie Ware, close to a first down, and he may have it. Wyatt again making the tackle for Alabama. And I'm sure that part of the discussion at halftime for Auburn was aimed at trying to establish a little bit more consistent ground attack.
You're right. Now, Alabama came out in a two-deep zone, and there was a nice play that time by Willie Wyatt, who had to fight off the block at the nose position and then almost lunged to make that tackle. It still wasn't in time.
So Auburn is able to establish a first down on the ground to begin the second half, something they couldn't easily do at the beginning. Duke Donaldson now on the little hitch, and a good tackle out there in the flat by number 59, George Bethune. Bethune replacing Rockwell to start the second half. Here's a summary of what's happened in the game. Auburn with 126 total yards, outgained by Alabama in the first half. Derek Thomas blocked a punt for Alabama and set the Tide up with first and goal at the 9, but Auburn stopped Alabama at the 1 and then went 99 yards on the strength of the 44-yard pass to Tillman, 2 big 15-yard penalties against Alabama. And here is Danley breaking into the secondary and fumbling the ball, and Alabama has it. If, in fact, they're going to be given credit for the recovery.
One official says yes.
That's usually all it takes, unless he can be talked out of it. The ball's at the 43-yard line of Alabama, and this is a very big discussion right now. Jelks being pulled out of there. He created one of the personal foul calls in the first half when he kicked the ball. This time, Alabama gets a break.
They average 2 turnovers a game. We said at the outset they've got to get those turnovers today.
Danley upset. Osment, the strong safety, was the man who fell on it for Bama.
All right, now the ground can't cause a fumble in any league. You can see that it's loose. And Osment gets it right there. There's no question about it. The ball was out before he ever hit the ground.
Good call. First down, Bama at the 43-yard line. You saw Curry show more emotion than he did at any time in the first half. Dunn pitches to Humphrey, and Humphrey gets a few on the short side of the field. Alvin Briggs drove him out of bounds. Another look at Curry's reaction to the fumble recovery.
He's a competitor. We sat in his office. We talked at great length about this. He wants to get out there and play himself. And what a great player he was. Played in 3 Super Bowls. First with the Vince Lombardi coach Packers, and then with the Baltimore Colts.
Head coach at Georgia Tech for 7 years, during which time he was 0-7 against Auburn. Second down, Humphrey again. Gets outside. But then is dropped out of bounds on a good play by Carlo Cheatham, the free safety. Cheatham may be the only Auburn defender who could have gotten there quickly enough to close off the sideline on Humphrey.
You're exactly right about that. And the thing that got him there was the angle that he took. Instead of coming flat straight down the line, he gave himself a little cushion. Took a good pursuit angle where he could cut him off and then pushed him out of bounds.
So now it is third down, 4 yards to go for Dunn and the Crimson Tide. Draw play is smelled out and stopped for a loss. Benji Rowland, the nose guard, stayed home all the way, and Humphrey had nowhere to go. So Alabama is unable to capitalize on the break. But if Moore can produce a good punt here, then the Tide may at least get a field position advantage out of the fumble. There are the numbers on Moore. Donaldson deep to receive for Auburn. Going to run it back. Flag down as Donaldson is dropped on a solid tackle at the 23-yard line. 35-yard punt. 6-yard return. Butch Lewis, number 61, was the man who made the hit. Kurt Crane comes out to listen to what the call might be. And the Alabama players were pointing toward the Auburn goal line.
Had a clip during the run back.
So with the help of that penalty, Alabama does get a little bit of a field position edge. Auburn will start with the ball at its own 10 when we come back.
If you were stranded on an island, what kind of car would you want? On this island, you'd want the legendary reliability of Toyota Camry. You'd want responsive 16-valve power and front-wheel drive to ease your way through savage traffic in very civilized room and comfort. And, of course, you'd want Camry style, just to impress the natives. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more? When you look through a Minolta Maxim, any picture you can imagine is possible. Minolta, the leader in SLR technology, with more autofocus lenses, more autofocus zooms, to help you capture more of the action. You and Minolta Maxim bring creativity to life. Maxim, the ultimate system. Only from the mind of Minolta.
In one of these, and in one of these. One of these lasts longer than all the rest.
Two right, the extraordinary Energizer.
In one of these lasts longer than all the rest.
Two right, the extraordinary Energizer.
It'll surprise ya.
Laboratory tests prove in most devices, Energizer lasts longer than any other battery. New Energizer.
Oi!
CBS Sports presents college football. Today's CFA game is sponsored by your Toyota dealer and the '88 Toyota Camry. Toyota quality, who could ask for anything more? The Energizer battery, good times never lasted longer. And by U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start.
There has been not a shred of sunshine all day in Legion Field. And we take a look back at this punt return.
There's the illegal block on Crane at the top of the screen, but watch this hit by Lorenzo Ward, 18, coming up right here. Boom! Now that's impact. See the head immediately ducks, and he goes backwards. Lorenzo Ward's just a freshman.
And as a result of the illegal block, the ball goes back to the 10-yard line. So Auburn starts from there, and on first down, Reggie Ware has a gain of about 6 before Greg Gilbert met him and brought him down for Alabama. I'm Jim Lampley along with Tim Brandt. You're watching CBS Sports telecast of Auburn, Alabama from Legion Field, where it is 7-0 Auburn, 12-12 to go in the third quarter. Last game of its kind in one of college football's most storied series. On second down 4, Dan Late has a pickup of 3. I say last game of its kind because this is the last time that the 75,808 tickets for access to Legion Field have been divided 37,904 to one side and 37,904 to the other. Next year when they play here, with Alabama being designated as the home team, Auburn will have only 10,900 tickets. Where they play the following year is in dispute. Auburn says they'll play down at their place. Alabama says they'll play here. On third down, Reggie Ware picks up a first down for the Tigers. So Auburn is able to dig out a little bit of space as they move it from their 10 to their 21. Gene Jelks and George Bethune made the stop for Alabama.
You see, Auburn is making all the critical plays right now, the plays that they have to make. Alabama has had chances and has not made the plays when it counted. They had a 4th and inches, did not make it. They had a 4th and goal at the 1 and ran a play action, threw the ball over Howard Cross's head, did not make it. So they are not making the critical plays, and they have not capitalized on the turnover.
First down now for Berger and the Tigers, and Berger drops back. Gets away from Thomas. Can't get away from the second man, number 51, Tommy Cole. Again, though, it was Derek Thomas who created havoc for the Auburn offense.
3rd sack of the day for Alabama. Cole and Thomas. Now, what do you think Jeff Berger's watching? When he gets back there, he's got his head on a swivel. Where's number 55? Where's numbers 55? Here he comes. Inside take now. He chases him out of there, forces him on the side, and here comes Cole. Cole grabs him from behind and takes him down. But it was Derek Thomas, 55, that made that play because he got Berger out of the pocket.
Berger never has to look too far to find 55. About a second and a half, and he's going to be in his face.
Thomas says his favorite number is 12. He wants to be near it all day.
Draw play. Danley. Couldn't get away from number 9 out there, Mike Smith. Smith, the freshman out of Gainesville, Florida.
You see more and more schools now going to the South, especially in Florida, to get their skilled positions. So many kids come out of there that can run, catch. They've got those quick flex muscles where they can get out in skilled positions.
Out from under the shadow of Galen Hall's Florida Gator machine came Mike Smith. He made that stop after a 3-yard pickup. Well, no, a 7-yard pickup. Could have been 2nd and 14. It's now 3rd and 7. They try to draw again. Derek Thomas has Danley. Danley tries to make it to the chain, and he got very close. And Danley showed real strength there as he carried Derek Thomas for about 5 yards.
You watch Thomas here. He lost the leverage in his legs. Boom, he'll make the hit here. All right, now he'll skate down that line. Now he's in pursuit. Here he makes the contact, but see, he's got to tuck that tail. His legs are extended, doesn't have the leverage. While the running back, Danley, still does. And drove him and got the first down.
And Stacy Danley, who now has 14 carries for 71 yards in the game, picks up a first down for Auburn. And for the first time all day, the sun breaks through the clouds and sheds a little light, ironically, on the Alabama sideline. Ironic because it is Auburn which leads 7-0 and which has now picked up 2 first downs since starting this drive from its own 10-yard line. That's a small war eagle. That's actually an argument eagle.
That's one you carry into the tavern with you.
Harry Mose gets a short gain on first down. You look at Pat Dye. It is more than mildly disconcerting to a lot of Alabama fans and supporters that Pat Dye sounds and sometimes even looks like Bear Bryant. Neither Ray Perkins nor Bill Curry are in that category.
No question about it. You close your eyes, you think Bear's there with you.
The rhythm of the speech is the same. Certainly the hard-nosed toughness is similar. 2nd down 6. Ware, first down, finally knocked out of bounds across midfield at the Alabama 48. 17-yard gain for the fullback, Reggie Ware.
A 17-yard run for Reggie.
Boy, missed tackles, missed tackles, missed tackles. You've got to wrap your arms. Gene Jelks had him and let him get away. It almost looks now like the Alabama defense is getting tired. They're not coming up, wrapping the arms, trying to get that leverage back under your legs where all the impact comes from, where all the power comes from, and putting them down on their backs.
Well, indeed, if you just look at the numbers on the roster, Auburn is bigger and stronger. Reggie Ware weighs 236 pounds. And Alabama does indeed look a little bit worn down right now. Danley. Slow developing play.
You know what, Jim? That's a good point, and Alabama readily admits that they really aren't any physical match for Auburn. They came in saying that. But how do you explain a guy like Mose, the running back, taking it around that left side, or Danley rather? He weighs 200 pounds. You got a guy like Derek Thomas coming up who's 225, 230, and he's still the running back wins the contest. That's not physical. That's just getting a leverage under you and just taking it and a little desire to get to that first down marker.
Second down, 8. Auburn staying on the ground.
Number 21, Vincent Harris, stopped by number 51, Tommy Cole.
And Vincent Harris, carrying the ball for the first time, is stopped by Tommy Cole.
At the Alabama 45.
So Cole, who had the sack a few plays ago, makes a tackle after a short gain by Harris, and now it will be third down, 7 yards to go. Plenty of time to go in the ball game, but you get the feeling that it might be more than just a little important to Alabama to stop Auburn on this play.
See, the time left in the ball game is not the key. The time of possession is the key. Auburn's had the ball a long time, and the Alabama defense is tired. They need a rest. Here comes Thomas.
And Berger overthrows.
And then he looks at his speed, almost to say, I know you're there, Derek.
So Alabama gets a key stop of Auburn on third down. It will be fourth down and 7. The ball at the 45-yard line. Brian Schulman will be standing at his 40. High, long kick. Jelks runs away from it. It goes all the way to the back line. Alabama, after the 45-yard punt, will start with the football at its own 20-yard line. 7 minutes to go in the third, trailing 7-zip.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
It's the right for you at the right time. It's the silver bullet and it stays so fine. It's a new way to go to town. The silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on, it's a cruise light. It's the right fit now. Good life, yeah. Good life, yeah. So come on, it's a cruise light. It's the right fit now.
There's a tendency in business to focus on the big picture. But at Cigna, we realize the big picture is actually made up of millions of smaller pictures. Which is why our companies provide an array of insurance, healthcare, employee benefits, and financial services to millions of individuals and thousands of businesses. One person at a time. Cigna, personalized service to business around the world.
We bring you back in the third quarter, and there are the facts of the game. If Auburn wins this game, it goes to the Sugar Bowl. But if Alabama wins, the Sugar Bowl must choose between the Tide and LSU. And Bill Curry says that it ought to be his team, not LSU.
I can't face my players if we're fortunate enough to beat Auburn, and we've already beaten LSU on their home field, and say, okay, fellas, we're the co-champs and we beat LSU, but really we shouldn't be going to the Sugar Bowl. I can't say that. That isn't true, in my opinion.
So those are Curry's feelings, and of course, you can understand his position.
I agree with him. Hey, listen, if it's head-to-head competition and you go down and beat LSU in Baton Rouge and you're co-champions, LSU was there that last year, that's part of the criterion.
LSU has been ranked higher all year. Alabama 1st and 10 from the 20. Dunn able to release the ball, and the incompletion saves Alabama some yardage. Flag down. And the flag was thrown back at the area where Dunn went out of bounds after releasing the ball. So we'll wait to see if it's a personal foul call against Auburn.
If it is, it's David Rocker.
And it'd be a big break.
6'4", 260-pound freshman.
In a moment, I'll give you the rest of the LSU argument. It is a roughing the passer call. It'll give Alabama 15 yards, and here's another look.
Here's 95. There's the hit. All right, now the ball's gone. He's got to release him right now. Instead, he just throws him to the ground. Good call.
So now it is first down, Alabama from the 35. And the give is to the fullback, Bo Wright inside, and Wright has a gain of about 6. Here's the rest of the LSU argument. They've been ranked higher all year, and they have lost only one game, that one to Alabama. Alabama has lost 3, and included among those 3 losses were a crushing defeat by Notre Dame, 37-6, and the embarrassment of a loss to Memphis State. So LSU's argument would be that the Sugar Bowl committee shouldn't invite a team which has lost to Memphis State as opposed to a team which has been in the top 10 all year. I'm neutral myself. 3 yards to go for the first down. Bobby Humphrey has it as he gets across the 45 to about the 47. Greg Staples made the stop for Auburn, and suddenly, after that personal foul call against Auburn, Alabama looks a little more alive.
I still say, though, if you're going to lose a football game, you got to lose it early in the year. You know, if you just changed, of course, if and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a party we'd have. But if they just changed Notre Dame and Penn State on their schedule, that means they had won 5 straight SEC games and beaten Penn State. But instead, they're coming in here with that loss at Notre Dame, their worst regular season loss in 30 years, and that doesn't sit well with the Sugar Bowl folks.
Dunn can't find anybody. Finally releases, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver was Howard Cross, the tight end, and he dropped it as he was being ridden out of bounds. The other players in this scenario are the Gator Bowl and the Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa, Florida. Incidentally, it's now time to present this week's Toyota Leadership Award to team players who've been singled out by their school's coaching and faculty staff for outstanding performance in the areas of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. They are Kerry Good from Alabama and Wynn Lyle from Auburn. I'll tell you more about them in a moment. Right now, it's 2nd down 10 for Alabama at its 47-yard line. Humphrey runs right into the middle of the Auburn defense and has a gain of only a couple to about midfield. Ron Stallworth made the tackle for Auburn. Kerry Good of Alabama is a senior general management major from Town Creek, Alabama. And Wynn Lyle of Auburn is a sophomore pre-med major from the little town of Auburn. Toyota donates a check in the amount of $1,000 to each of the 2 schools' general scholarship funds. And those are good choices. You're particularly heartened by the choice of Kerry Good because he's been a great citizen during his years at Alabama. On 3rd down 6, Dunn is in trouble and is down at his own 40-yard line. Kurt Crane was there early. First Auburn sack of the day. Nate Hill and Ron Stallworth creating the pressure from their sides of the defensive line. And so Moore gets ready to kick it away again for Alabama. Donaldson at his 20. Takes it at the 18 on the run and is dropped on a fine open field tackle by number 23, Todd Richardson of Alabama. 42-yard punt, 4-yard return. Auburn leading Alabama 7-0. Will have it at its 22. We come back.
Auburn will put it in play 1st and 10 at the Tigers' 22.
Makita, the cordless power tool system more professionals use to work around the house or even build one. Makita, it's all the power you need.
It's so easy to own, to sell. It's so easy.
The 1988 Toyota Tercel EZ. The price will take you right back to the 50s. Only $59.48. Reliable Toyota Tercel with a price dialed down to the 50s. Right now, power and zip, contemporary up-to-the-minute style, good old 50s price.
Tercel, who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
I think little Kevin is ready for a radio-controlled car this year. I can see him now as his Radio Shack Off-Road Wild Champ takes to the hills, or maybe the Malibu 4x4 off-roader. It's got both 2- or 4-wheel drive. Or I could get him that Radio Shack Turbo Racer. It sure kicks up the dirt. Little Kevin would really like that.
Remote radio-controlled toys, $11.95 to $159.95. Only at Radio Shack.
Last year, the Giants knocked out the Redskins. Now the first-place Skins are out for revenge. Sunday on CBS Sports.
With the leaves turning outside Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, Auburn leads 7-0. Still a long way to go in the second half. Down to James Brown.
All right, Jim. Now, although Auburn's nickname is Tigers, their mascot happens to be this war eagle, which just happens to be nicknamed Tigers. Now, I don't think anybody will question why a bird will be nicknamed Tigers when you consider that with each one of its talons, it can apply 450 pounds per square inch of pressure. And that compares with an average man's grip of about 20 pounds per square inch. And, of course, Auburn is hoping to put the big squeeze on Alabama. Let's go back upstairs to Jim.
Well, Tim, you've met that bird, haven't you?
I didn't get that close to him.
Nor, in fact, did I. James is a more courageous sort. On first down for Auburn, a big play by number 92, Darrell Whetstone.
Great play. Boy, that's when you just stay low, you penetrate, you shoot the gap, and make the tackle. Boy, he was on the ground. That took great arm strength because he was completely laid out.
And he's the backup nose guard, so you hope that, or you expect, I would think, that the Alabama coaches saw the same thing we saw in the last Auburn drive, which was that the Tide defense appeared to be wearing down just a little bit. Second down, 9 yards to go. Stacey Danley tries to cut up inside and has only a couple. Number 59, George Bethune, held his ground. Sunday, CBS Sports presents a doubleheader featuring 2 of the NFL's most intense rivalries. First, a black and blue divisional battle as the Packers meet the Bears. Most of you will see that. The rest of you will see the regional games listed there. You've got to check your local listings to see which one. Then Giants take on Redskins, and the Skins, with strong memories of last season's NFC Championship game when the Giants kept them from going to the Super Bowl. Now the first-place Skins have a big chance for revenge. It all starts with the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern Time Sunday. Berger on third down gets out of trouble momentarily and then is dragged down. Derek Thomas again, one of the men there to tackle Berger.
It's a big play because Alabama was a little bit mixed up in the secondary. Their coverage was shaky. They didn't know what they were doing. Watch Derek Thomas now. Here he comes, 55 again. He's just sneaking in there. He's playing hide and seek. Now he has to get rid of the blocker and come out and make the tackle.
And Auburn lines up in a hurry to punt it away. Schulman from inside his 10 gets this one off, but it's a low kick. And Jelks brings it back to about the 47 before a wallop is put on him by Elton Billingsley, number 47. 32-yard punt, 2-yard return. Alabama with outstanding field position. 2:47 remaining in the third quarter. You wonder when and if Alabama will begin to open it up a little bit on offense.
They almost have to. They've had success with Humphrey, but their passing has been underneath. It's been not successful. Now they've got to look deep every once in a while. They got to loosen this thing up. Tell you what, Auburn's not doing anything fancy defensively. They're playing basic vanilla zone.
They're good in the game for Alabama. Sometimes that means that the Tide is ready to go for the big play. Screen, Humphrey. Not much there. Auburn was able to force him back to the inside, and then Ogletree, number 94, led the group that closed it up. Through the years, in the 1890s, Auburn dominated the rivalry, pretty even up to 1907 when they stopped playing and didn't play again until 1948. It was pretty even through 59. Of course, Auburn had the national championship team in 57. Then Alabama dominated in the 60s and 70s. They've been even in the 80s. Good on second down is dropped for a loss. Ogletree, again, number 94. And the sophomore out of Barnesville, Georgia, got a surprise start today ahead of Alvin Mitchell at outside linebacker, and he has come up big for Pat Dodd.
It's the only way to play the option. You had Craig Ogletree, the outside linebacker, taking the pitch man. You had Nate Hill the nose or the defensive tackle taking the quarterback, so everything was covered that time. They left nothing uncovered.
Third down, 10 for Alabama. Battle and Whitehurst are the wide receivers, both to the top of the screen. Good in motion to the bottom. Good protection for Dunn. Now he breaks out. Threw it into a crowd. Punting team back on for the tie. Well, they've had good field position on both of the last two possessions. Sooner or later, they're going to have to take advantage, or else they'll be headed to the Hall of Fame Bowl in Tampa.
You want to know what this game means? I remember seeing Chris Moore as a freshman, had a broken left leg, had his left leg in a cast. That's his plant foot on the punts, and still punted against Auburn.
Donaldson makes the fair catch back at the 15-yard line. A 39-yard punt. And now Auburn will start the offense from its 15, trailing 7-0. And Auburn, which has been more successful running the ball in the second half than they were in the first half, can, I think, continue to play conservatively on offense, Tim, if Alabama is unable to produce a big play.
I agree with you. And right now, Auburn offensively is controlling the line of scrimmage. The Alabama defense is tired. They've been stringing them out. They've been running them from sideline to sideline. And right now, Auburn's got the advantage.
Auburn plays fast, comes out in a hurry on first down, and Stacy Danley has a pickup of about 5 before Tommy Cole can make the stop for Alabama. So that'll bring it out to about the 20. It'll be second down and 5 to go. 17 carries, 81 yards for Danley, and now Danley has more yards in the ball game than does his opposite number, Bobby Humphrey of Alabama. On second down, Reggie Ware is met and stopped after a gain of only about a yard. Number 59, Bethune, and number 56, Gilbert, were there, and you saw Bethune pumping his arm in the air, trying to arouse the emotions of his teammates. Clock ticking, 26 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Auburn will get one more play off before the period ends. Third down and 4 yards to go. The Tigers are 4 for 11 on third downs in the game. Berger, complete. First down yardage and out of bounds at the 29. Second catch of the game for Lawyer Tillman.
Boy, that play was set up nicely, too. It looked like it was going to be a down and out, and it was, but they had a pick out there. They could rub the defensive back off. Once they rubbed him off with a pick, he was wide open. Watch this now. Here's Berger. No question where he's going. See his head? He's looking to the right already. And the ball's right there. But the play was made by 14 as Freddie Wagan, who had to rub off the defensive back.
And got him a singleton on Tillman. Sack. Derek Thomas again, along with number 92, Darrell Whetstone, the backup nose guard. And on that play, the third period comes to a close. 5th sack of the game for Alabama. And you can just isolate number 55 on every play because he is the killer force on the Bama defense.
6'2", 222 pounds. I'm surprised. Look at this. They're using 3 guys trying to pick him up. The backs, not even a chance. He's so quick. He's got those great feet. Just tap danced around him.
And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Auburn 7, Alabama nothing. College football on CBS Sports will return after this message and a word from your local station.
If you could ask.
A truck that'll make you wonder how you ever got along without it. Toyota Standard Bed. The one that sets the standard for compact trucks with the biggest standard payload in its class. And the solid value that makes Toyota #1 in import truck sales. Don't compromise. Don't settle for less than Toyota quality. Now who's looking out for #1?
Toyota.
Toyota. Who could ask for anything more?
Little towns in Europe had their own way of knowing the holidays were near. It wasn't the decorations or the first magic snowfall. It was the appearance of special holiday lagers in every pub and beer hall. Today, that tradition lives in America at Coors, introducing Winterfest, a lager so bold, so extravagant, we brew it only for the holidays. And when the new year comes, the Winterfest will be gone.
but not the memories.
This is CBS.
Jim Burke has 4 for the road for you. Buick, Nissan, Subaru, and Suzuki. Luxurious Jim Burke Buicks. Hot-selling Jim Burke Nissans. Economical, sporty Jim Burke Subarus. And exciting fun machines, Jim Burke Suzukis. 4 for the road for you at Jim Burke Buick, Nissan, Subaru in downtown Birmingham. And Jim Burke Suzuki on the corner of Red Lane Road and Roebuck Plaza Drive.
The After Thanksgiving sale at Macy's. Save on Panasonic's 4-head VCR with remote in slow motion, only $290. Save on Panasonic's 20-inch cable-ready tuner with remote, $295. And save on Kenwood's 125-watt remote compact disc stereo with bonus package $1,100. Today and tomorrow only, the After Thanksgiving sale.
We're Macy's. We're a part of your life.
Roebuck Mazda understands there are more cars than there are buyers, and car dealers are making deals. But at Roebuck Mazda, we ran out of 87s 2 months ago, so we're making deals on 88s. Like this 88 Mazda MX-6 for only $10,599 or $175.62 a month. Or this 626 for only $10,499 or $166.07 a month. Or this 88 323 for $59.99 or $109.94 a month. Our new finance team at Mazda American Credit gives you better financing than ever before. 88s at clearance prices. Roebuck Mazda, Parkway East.
WBMG, Birmingham 42, in stereo.
CBS Sports presents college football. Today's CFA game is sponsored by Cigna, a leader in insurance, healthcare, employee benefits, and financial services. Toyota, setting the standard for quality and value. And by Wrangler Jeans, made in the USA.
As we bring you back live to Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, the fourth quarter begins in the 52nd meeting between the Auburn Tigers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Auburn with the football at its own 20-yard line. Draw play. And number 32, Stacy Danley, breaks out to about the 35. And across it to the 36-yard line before Mike Smith, the safety man, made the stop for Alabama. That play came on 2nd and 19, and now Auburn will face 3rd down and 3. 18 carries, 97 yards now for Danley, a freshman from Winston, Georgia, who has been brilliant in the second half.
He goes out. He's not banged up. It's an equipment situation. He needs to get his chin strap squared away. Boy, he's made the difference in the running game. 19 years old. The athlete he mostly admires, Eric Dickerson. If that's the case, what do you think his major is? Finance. He's smart.
Yeah. 3rd down 3. Reggie Ware. Close. Dragged down right at about the chain. This will be a critical measurement for Alabama, which needs to get the ball back and get something going, if only to maintain a little confidence. The second half has been almost all Auburn, though there has been no scoring. It was 7-0 at halftime. It's 7-0 now. Pat Dye relaxed as he sips from a cup on the sideline. Bill Curry, you saw, shuffling his feet. And by about an inch, Reggie Ware moves the nose of the football past the chain, and it's another Auburn first down. So Auburn, after the sack of Berger, is able to come back and get the first down on 2 running plays. The big one, the 16-yarder by Danley. The ball is at the 39 of Auburn. Ware. All the way to the 40-yard line. Mike Smith makes the stop. Flag down on the play. 21-yard pickup for Ware. In the first half, the Alabama defense didn't bend much. Now they are. But this is a big break for the Tide.
Procedure against the offense, just 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Still first down.
5 yards. 1st and 15.
Illegal procedure, but there were only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. That's why they're bringing it back. That's a major break for Alabama. Ware, 6'2", 236-pounder. Played behind Tommy Agee last year. He was the designated short yardage man, but the pressure's right there on Jeff Berger.
Now it is 1st and 15. And this time, Ware is met and dropped in the middle of the line.
3-yard gain on the play.
Meanwhile, there is a dramatic development on the far sideline behind the Alabama bench. At the beginning of the season, the starting quarterback for Alabama was a junior former walk-on named David Smith. He broke his collarbone September 26 against Vanderbilt. He was not expected to play again this season. But this week, Alabama coaches, to their surprise, were told by doctors that Smith might be able to play today. And with Mike Dunn, or Jeff Dunn, I should say, having struggled in the second half, Smith has now begun to warm up. Berger on 2nd down throws complete to Duke Donaldson, but the Duke is out of bounds at the 44, and he'll be short of the 1st down by about 5. So you wonder now if on the next Alabama possession we might not see David Smith in the game and a little bit less conservative Alabama offense.
Coming into this ball game, I was sure that we'd see David Smith. They were talking about him the way that Coach Curry talked about him in his office yesterday and the day before. He is amazed that Smith came back with that collarbone injury and is throwing very well.
You saw Jeff Dunn there slapping his hand. On 3rd down, Berger throws complete to Donaldson, and again, Auburn overcomes the penalty and converts for a 1st down.
See, we're talking about David Smith coming into the ball game. First thing Alabama's got to do is get the ball back, and right now they're not doing that. Jeff Berger is taking this defense. He's taking what they're giving him. Now, remember, we told you, they give him a lot of autonomy. He carries 3 plays up to the line of scrimmage with him. Makes his decision up there, sees where the weakness in the defense is, audibilizes, and goes with it.
Very big pickup of a 1st down with the 3rd down pass to Donaldson. There are the numbers on Berger. He is a more accurate passer than was Heisman Trophy winner Pat Sullivan during his day at Auburn. On 1st down, Danley gets a couple. And before the game, this is what Jeff Berger had to say about momentum in the 4th quarter.
I want to have the momentum going into the 4th quarter. That's something that the winning team in the past 4 or 5 years, the one that had the momentum going into the 4th quarter has usually come out on top.
He's got it now. 12 minutes exactly remaining in the ball game. They're in Alabama territory, Jim, and they've got that momentum.
2nd down, 7 yards to go. Number 21 with his 2nd carry of the day is Vincent Harris. Philip Brown made the stop for Alabama, and now again Auburn faces a big 3rd down situation. And more to the point, the Alabama defense has a chance to force a punt, and it becomes more and more important for the Tide to take advantage of that chance.
And do not forget that Alabama has already blocked 1 punt this afternoon. But they got to stop Auburn here first. Everybody's coming.
Tillman across the 40 to the 39-yard line. The chain was right at the 40 by about a half a yard. Tillman got the 1st down. His 3rd catch of the day, and every one of them has been a big one.
Talk about 85 if you want to. That play was made by Jeff Berger. He came up to the line. He read the blitz just like we did up here. When you're in blitz, what happens? Man coverage. Who do you go to? The guy that's 6'4" and is an out. I'm telling you, the guy's Baryshnikov in cleats. Just get it out there. He'll make the catch. So they got it out there. He got the 1st down.
Wendell Davis of LSU was a 1st-team All-America player. Auburn supporters will insist to you that Tillman is a better receiver than Wendell Davis. Danley has only a couple. Clock continues to run past 11 minutes.
Gut check time now. Somebody's got to take a hold of that defense. It's got to be Derek Thomas or one of those leaders. Get him in that huddle and say, hey, look, strap it on. We've got 10 minutes left in this ball game. They score here, it's over. We're in 4th place. We stop them here, we get the ball back, and we've got all kinds of time to do things.
2nd down, 8.
Draw.
Danley stumbles. He had a big hole. He would have gone for the 1st down if he had not temporarily lost his footing. As it is, he stopped about a yard short. 6-yard pickup. Willie Shepard made the tackle. 21 carries for 110 yards for Stacy Danley. Third down and a long one.
Oh, what a hit.
Reggie Ware didn't get it. Did not get it. Now, if Auburn were to go for a field goal here, it would be a 47-yard try.
Ware stopped by the middle of the Alabama line for no gain. Forward and wide at the Alabama.
Bethune, Derek Thomas, Gilbert, the linebackers watch. The line does their job, stacks it up. Then look, they go over the top. The linebackers fill, meet the ball carrier in the air, and take him back. All three linebackers were there that time. Outstanding job going up over the top.
And as Auburn lined up in field goal kicking formation, Pat Dye said, no, let's give it another look. That's the situation. We'll be back.
Who will capture the Heisman? Find out next Saturday on CBS Sports.
There's a tendency in business to focus on the big picture. But at Cigna, we realize the big picture is actually made up of millions of smaller pictures, which is why our companies provide an array of insurance, healthcare, employee benefits, and financial services to millions of individuals and thousands of businesses. One person at a time. Cigna, personalized service to business around the world.
In the 1988 Olympic Games, something special will happen. Every American athlete will bring home the gold. Gold-tipped, long-lasting Kodak batteries. The official batteries of the 1988 Olympic Games.
For Toyota quality and get city smart and country tough in one powerful package. Toyota 4Runner. With four-wheel drive and room for 5, 4Runner commutes, carries, and conquers all roads. 4Runner, #1 in customer satisfaction for 2 years running. Now who's looking out for #1?
Toyota.
Toyota, who could ask for anything more?
It's 7-0 Auburn with 9:13 to go, and moments ago, Alabama got a big stop of Auburn on 3rd and 1.
Here's the key play now. These guys in here have to clog everything up. They've just got a submarine, but the play's made right here by Gilbert. Watch him. He's got to anticipate and come over the pileup to make the hit. See the pileup down there, the submarine by the lineman? Now here comes Gilbert. Anticipates, gups over, up and over, and stops the ball carrier right there. Actually makes him go backwards.
And because of that big play, now Auburn lines up to try a 47-yard field goal. Win Lyle is the kicker. The hold is good. The kick is up. Wide to the right. Alabama dodges a bullet. 9 minutes, 7 seconds left. The Tide offense comes onto the field, and the quarterback will be... We're still waiting to see. There is no quarterback on the field yet.
It's David Smith.
It is
coming
David
on right
Smith.
now.
The quarterback will be David Smith. Bill Curry watching the kick go wide. We're still in the game, guys.
David Smith, as Jim mentioned, a junior. He's from Gadsden, Alabama. He was the backup to Mike Shula last year, a walk-on.
Playing for the first time in 2 months and 1 day. Humphrey. 12-yard gain. Kevin Porter made the stop for Auburn. Smith's very presence on the field suddenly seems to lift Alabama. Tomorrow, CBS Sports continues its holiday weekend lineup of great football action with another college football set, this time doubleheader. Noon Eastern time, third-ranked Florida State against Florida, and then Notre Dame against Miami. Last week, Notre Dame lost its national championship hopes. They'll try to eliminate Miami tomorrow. CBS Sports continues with college football. First down, Alabama. Ball at the 43-yard line. Smith. To the fullback for about 5, Bo Wright. And again, Alabama suddenly playing with more vigor. Of course, they got a long rest. Auburn held the ball for more than 7 minutes on that possession.
Yeah, but you made a key point. He doesn't even have to come in and complete a pass right now. He has just energized this team by his presence. What a story. Broke his collarbone in prep school. Came in as a walk-on here at Alabama. He won a job, backed up Mike Shula. Breaks his collarbone after upsetting Penn State this year. They said he wouldn't be back. Here he is. What an inspiration.
By Edward Phillips after only a gain of about a yard. Third down, 4. Crane was also there.
So we anticipate that we're going to see Smith's first pass. Now, here's the key. The collarbone that he broke this time was not the same one he broke when he was in prep school. It is his right collarbone, but he's left-handed, just like Mike Shula was.
He won the starting quarterback job against an array of high school All-Americans who were much bigger names. Jeff Gunn, Billy Ray, Vince Sutton, those 3 among the most heavily recruited quarterbacks in the country over the past few years. Nobody cared much about David Smith. Third down, 4. Plenty of room if he wants to run it. He throws short. A little indecisiveness. Marco battled the intended receiver. If Smith had tucked it down immediately, I think he'd have gotten to the chain.
It looked like he was directing traffic. He seemed to be composed enough to tell people where to go. He was actually pointing to his receivers to break away and separate from the defensive backs.
So it's 4th down, 4. They bring it back to the right hash mark, and Moore will try to pin Auburn's 8. High kick. Auburn bounce. Downed at about the 20. Auburn is 7 minutes and 18 seconds away from another trip to New Orleans.
There's a new stonewashed jean made for a man after his work is done. American Hero Jeans from Wrangler.
Take me back where I belong. Take me where it's safe and warm.
The Goodyear Vector is the all-season radial that pumps water away to keep more tire tread on the road. And for some, that's a comforting thought.
Take me home, Goodyear, take me home. Never matters how far I go, Goodyear, take me home.
There's a place where time has stood still, Yorktown, Virginia.
A lot of tourists come here, and that was my problem. I run a hotel association reservation center. We couldn't handle all the calls. Our system seemed this outdated.
AT&T comes through with advanced telemarketing.
Since our AT&T consultant helped us redesign our operation, business is booming.
From equipment to networking, from computers to communications, AT&T is the right choice.
Well, hello again as we bring you back live to Legion Field. We've got 7 minutes, 18 seconds to go, and Auburn has played very confidently, effectively, almost arrogantly in the second half of the 7-0 lead.
Confidently, I don't know if arrogantly. I'll tell you this, Jeff Berger is a curator of clocks, and he now knows that he's got 7:18 left, so he just wants to eat that clock up. Alabama, on the other hand, has to make that big play. We got to get Derek Thomas or somebody in there, they're saying, and make that big play. We got to stop him right now, get that ball back, and give David Smith another shot.
If you're Alabama, do you look to blitz a little bit here?
Well, they've been doing that. I think they've been mixing their defenses up pretty well. They've held Auburn to 7 points.
On first down, Berger pitches back. The number 25, Harry Mose, and the freshman who has scored the game's only touchdown, has a pickup of 4. It'll be second down 6. Mose got the only TD in the game on a 5-yard run in the last minute of the first half.
Nice job by Bethune that time on the outside. Also, he got run support from Kermit Kendrick. They came up, they strung it out, they met the blocker, and they made the tackle.
On second down, Auburn lines up in a tight formation, announcing to Alabama that they're going to run, and they get only a couple.
Except I was surprised that time. I was watching Gilbert, and Gilbert ran himself out of the play. Just before the snap, he seemed to see something and ran to the left. His left. The play came behind him.
Nevertheless, the defense closed up and held for a gain of only a yard, and now it will be third down 5. Berger 14 of 18 in the game. He's been brilliant in the second half.
First down.
Stacy Danley across the 30 to the 35. Big play for Auburn. Gene Jelks made the tackle for Alabama. But the Tigers get a chance to run a little more clock. 22 carries, 118 yards for Danley, and he's slow getting up.
Again, Jim, there was confusion in the Alabama defense. Auburn was already up and out of the huddle and over the ball, and the defensive players for Alabama were still looking over to the sidelines for the defensive call. They had their hands in the air.
That's been the problem for Alabama in the second half, and again, Berger has been at the heart of that. As you said, a curator of the clock.
No question, but the fact I was saying the clock up on the scoreboard didn't have as much impact in this ball game as the possession of the football.
First down now from the 35. Tillman in motion. Danley with a hole. Pickup of about 5. If you're Alabama at this point, Tim, I think you've got to gamble a little bit and try to close up against the running game. Just take the chance that Auburn isn't going to try to throw deep to Tillman in these circumstances.
Well, I'll tell you another thing you have to do, too, and that's start tackling the football. You've got to get that football loose.
Bill Curry can do nothing but watch and wait.
You know, they've been playing aggressively defensively. They're playing games up front. They've been blitzing the linebackers.
Reggie Ware is dropped. Good play at the corner for Alabama. Thomas was there, along with number 95, Thomas Rhea.
See, Jim, there's nothing fancy about that. It's just power versus power right now. And right now, Auburn's the more physical football team.
Alabama shuffling along the defensive front, trying to keep a little energy in the ball game. At times in the second half, the defense has looked tired because of that time of possession statistic we showed you a moment ago.
Another third down situation. Alabama's got to capitalize on these if they want a shot.
The chain is at the 45. Incomplete, but a flag down. Obviously a mix-up. 2 receivers in the same place. Berger wanted to get it to Tillman, I think.
The way John Magnum, though, reacted to the official, it's going to be pass interference against him.
And if so, it would be the third penalty to have critically wounded the Crimson Tide in this game. The 99-yard drive to the game's only touchdown was fueled by 2 personal foul calls against Bama.
Magnum's not a great speed guy, but he is the best cover guy on the corner for Alabama. He may be called, though, for pass interference, and that's what it looks like it's going to be.
Well, if it's a 5-yard penalty, it will give Auburn a first down.
Holding on the defense.
Instead, it is a big one, and it takes it to the 49-yard line of Alabama. 10-yard penalty. Pat Dye sees the chains move for his team. 4 minutes, 24 seconds to go. Auburn making no secret now of its desire to run inside and keep the clock moving. Sunday, CBS Sports presents a doubleheader featuring 2 of the NFL's intense rivalries. Most of you will see Green Bay and Chicago. The rest of you will see some of those regional matchups there. Where are you going this weekend, Tim?
Got a great football game. New Orleans and Pittsburgh. Both teams very much in the hunt, still in the playoff picture.
Saints have been playing brilliantly lately. I'll be doing the Tampa Bay versus the Rams game, but most of you across the country will see the Giants and the Redskins in the second half of this doubleheader. It all starts with the NFL today at 12:30 Sunday. Second down, breaking through is Danley. Another big play by the freshman tailback, and it'll be a first down. Auburn at the Alabama 35. Kermit Kendrick made the stop for the Crimson Tide. The pom-poms that are waving in this stadium right now are the blue and orange ones. Pat Dye thinks he's going back to the Sugar Bowl.
John Hutchin, watch 66. He's the guy that makes this play work right at center. Watch the block. Gets his hands extended. See? Keeps the body out. He's also holding. Actually, a pretty good takedown that time. That was a tackle. He just put his arms behind the legs of Willie Wyatt and tackled him.
On second down, or on first down, Reggie Ware gets a couple. Thomas and Shepard made the stop for Alabama. Clock runs, and when they start with the ball again, there will be fewer than 3 minutes to go in the game.
See, for Hudson now, that's a great play. The coaches will see that and say, hey, what a block. You sprung him, got the big first down. But in essence, he got away with a hold.
Bill Curry hitches up his pants and tries to exhort his troops to stop the Auburn thrust. Second down, 5. Danley again. All the way down to the 12-yard line. Alabama beginning to look a little disheartened. Shannon Felder knocked him out of bounds. What a game he's had.
Just outside the Alabama 11.
Carries, 154 yards for Stacy Danley. Reggie Ware cuts up inside and moves it past the 10-yard line to the Alabama 9.
A 2-yard gain on the play. Number 34, Lawrence Stewart. Second and 8 for Auburn at the Alabama 9.
Alabama's got all its timeouts left. They want one now.
Your attention, please. This is John.
So Bill Curry
will
talk to his staff now and see if he can find something left in Alabama's bag of defensive tricks. We'll be back.
Introducing Toyota Corolla for 1988. Dramatic new looks that'll literally stun you. Performance that'll surprise you. And value that is legendary. For 1988, it's a whole new dimension for Corolla. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Fancy perfuming aftershave. It's got to be a quarterback's locker. Real guys who get mud on their uniforms use rugged, honest stuff. Ice Blue Aqua Velva.
There's something about today's Aqua Velva, man.
Look for Aqua Velva Christmas gift sets.
Wake up! I could run off the road and you wouldn't know the difference. I can't stay awake. Here, revive with Vivarin. Vivarin helps wake you up.
Government-appointed experts confirm it's safe, effective.
Revive with Vivarin.
There's a tendency in business to focus on the big picture. But at Cigna, we realize the big picture is actually made up of millions of smaller pictures, which is why our companies provide an array of insurance, healthcare, employee benefits, and financial services to millions of individuals and thousands of businesses. One person at a time. Cigna. Personalized service to business around the world.
With 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in Legion Field, Auburn leads 7-0 and knocks on the door again. And if you're one of this state's 1.5 million or so Auburn fans, you'll be comforted to know that the once itinerant coach, Pat Dye, has settled down in Auburn, Alabama. He's bought a 1,025-acre farm in a town called Reeltown, 20 miles from Auburn. and he says that he's staying for the duration in the loveliest village. On second down with the ball at the Alabama 9, Stacy Danley hammers away for his 26th carry of the game and gets it down to the 6th.
Jim, the great coaches have the ability to adapt to their personnel, adapt to the changing times. Here's a guy you're looking at him, Pat Dye. He went from the wishbone to the wishbone option. He went to the eye power when he had Brent Fullwood and Bo Jackson. And then he went to the eye pass, which they're in now. They run the pass. They had more passing yardage than running yardage coming into this game. That guy right there adapted to his personnel and utilized Jeff Berger to the max.
He admits that it was not the most comfortable move in the world for him to go to a passing offense. But he did it because he had the players to do it. Reggie Ware is stopped on third down. So now it is fourth down, and Alabama uses another timeout to stop the clock with 1:23 to go. There is still a chance for the Tide if they can somehow avert a field goal or a touchdown by Auburn here. We'll be back.
We're not a company.
But we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it.
We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you.
As your ability for leadership grows, so will you.
Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence.
Become a person with a future.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Marines.
The Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
We're the armed forces.
It's a great place to start.
If you could ask for a rugged, reliable partner that'll take on heavy-duty responsibility, Toyota one-ton truck. No compact or even mid-size truck hauls a payload like this. And when you ask for pulling power, one ton gives you 2.5 tons. Don't compromise. Don't settle for less than Toyota quality. And now who's looking out for number one?
Toyota.
Could ask for anything more.
Third-ranked Florida State faces Florida. Then Notre Dame's championship hopes have been shattered. Now can the Irish shatter the hopes of Miami? Tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Pat Dye stands with longtime Auburn assistant coach Paul Davis on the sideline. Davis was an institution as the defensive coordinator under Shug Jordan, and Dye brought him back onto the staff to reestablish the tradition of the Auburn defense. Now a field goal try coming up for Win Lyle, and this will be a short one, 23 yards. He missed earlier from 47. The kick is up. It's 10-0 Auburn. So a little bit of insurance for the Auburn Tigers. In Pat Dye's 7th year at the helm, they are hoping to go to the Sugar Bowl for the second time.
Alabama's drive for the field goal covered 72 yards in 13 plays and consumed 5 minutes and 59 seconds.
Whole stadium is rocking.
Bobby Huntley and Terry Good leading Alabama.
37,904 Auburn fans making a lot of noise right now. 37,904 Alabama supporters very quiet. 1 minute 19 seconds to go. Lyle kicks short. Taken by Pierre Good. And Good takes it to the 37-yard line, from where Alabama will begin in now desperate straits.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of defense Auburn goes to. They've been so successful all day. It'd be a shame now to go to a prevent defense where they loosen up and try to bring everything underneath. It's when they go into those prevent defenses that teams start connecting and moving the football. They don't need that now. Just play regular defense. And they are.
This will be the 16th offensive play of the second half for Alabama. Auburn has run 45 plays. David Smith throws in the flat. to the fullback, Doug Allen, and Allen is knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 4.
Pretty smart that time by Auburn. They came up, lined up just like they were coming into a regular defense and then loosened up. And the War Eagle signs start to ride around Legion Field on their way to New Orleans.
Now, we're a couple of Southern boys, Tim. Shall we try to rip off one good War Eagle here? Shall we wait till the end of the game, or you want to do it now?
I'd say I've seen business ventures split, families broken up because of these games.
I think you and I are going to be able to remain friends. On second down, Smith throws down the middle. Knocked loose.
Ball game.
Do it.
Ball game. It's over.
A final disheartening blow to Alabama. Nate Hill knocked it loose. Kurt Crane knocked it loose. Nate Hill on the recovery. It was number 82, Clay Whitehurst, who was hit, and he's still down on the field. And you hope now that Whitehurst is not hurt, because he's a gutty guy and a class player. First catch of the game for Whitehurst. Alabama just didn't have the ball in the second half.
But for these guys, it's another championship ring. Here's Whitehurst right here, the possession receiver. They were in trouble anyway because it was in the middle of the field. It would have stopped the clock or kept the clock running with 1 minute left. Boy, what a hit. I'm telling you, that was Kurt Crane just put the lumber to him and knocked it loose. And for the guys in blue, it's another championship and a trip to New Orleans.
And they'll always remember that on the last occasion on which this stadium was half filled with Alabama people and half filled with Auburn people, it was the Auburn group who walked away happy.
For Alabama, there's not a guy on that bench that has a championship ring. This would have been the first, and they just watched it go away.
Well, it's been an up-and-down season for Bill Curry's team. Some tremendous wins. The big one over Tennessee, another over Penn State. Some terribly disappointing losses. They played with heart and courage today, but they were physically beaten in the second half.
I agree with you. It's been a terribly inconsistent team. They came to beat Penn State, lost to Florida the very next week. They were upset by Memphis State 13-10, but came back and beat Tennessee.
And there's a former Bear Bryant assistant who runs his record against Alabama to 4-3. Tomorrow, CBS Sports continues its lineup of college football action with a doubleheader. Noon Eastern time, third-ranked Florida State taking on Emmitt Smith and the Florida Gators. Then Notre Dame, which had its national championship hopes ended by Penn State last week, will try to end Miami's national championship hopes. And in the eyes of many Irish supporters, get a measure of revenge for the embarrassment of 2 years ago when it takes on Miami. Great college football doubleheader Saturday here on CBS Sports. It all starts at noon Eastern time. In the second half of the game, Tim, Alabama had the ball for 6 minutes, 57 seconds. And if Auburn keeps it the rest of the way, the Tigers will have had it for 23 minutes and 3 seconds.
That's the point we tried to make early. With 7 minutes left in the third quarter, we were looking at the scoreboard. That was not the time that was a factor. The time of possession was it.
And this is a team that came in with a questionable running game. I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Berger for his brilliant technicianship in the second half. But you got to give credit to a freshman running back named Stacy Danley, who has come out of the woodwork in the second half of the season to finally make Auburn supporters forget about what Bo Jackson and Brent Fullwood used to do for them.
Stacy Danley's a pretty good story, too. He had his confidence crushed early in the year. Came in, fumbled a couple of times, and was benched. And there was no running game at all for Auburn. Finally, they said, hey, look, we've got to generate some kind of offense. Let's give Stacy another shot. And number 32 right there came back and accepted the challenge and hasn't put it on the ground since.
Tonight on CBS, you can watch Beauty and the Beast, followed by Dallas and Falcon Crest. Plenty of drama there. There has been considerable drama here in Legion Field today. Now, finally, Clay Whitehurst gets up, but he looks very woozy. And we're not going to hazard any kind of a guess as to what might have happened to Clay. We're just going to say, let's hope that he's okay.
Dye. You know, with this 9-1-1 record, he moved ahead of Georgia coach Vince Dooley and into 8th place on the scroll of the nation's winningest active coaches in terms of winning percentage. Pat Dye.
Head coach at East Carolina, then at Wyoming. After 1 year at Wyoming, he was offered the head job at Auburn. He called Bear Bryant, his former boss at Alabama, and said, should I take the Auburn job? And Bear said, no, I wouldn't do that if I were you, because if you take it, I'm going to whoop you. And Pat said, well, Bear, that may be true, but whoever follows you, I'm going to whoop them like a stepson. And he took the job, and he hasn't exactly whooped them, but he does have a 4-3 edge.
And he's made major progress. They've made the stadium larger. They're trying to move the game to a home and away series where they'll have Alabama in Auburn. The program has not only arrived, but it continues to get better.
And he has given Auburn supporters a kind of pride that they did not enjoy during all of the years that Bryant and Alabama was able to dominate them and the great Shug Jordan in the 60s and 70s. Bear Bryant, Shug Jordan, their great rivalry lasted 25 years. Both of them made their mark on the history of college football, and there was a majesty to this game when those two men stood on the sidelines, which I know that you and I will never forget.
We had some great times down on those sidelines. People say how tough that job is, but well, you're down there for all this emotion, the ebb and flow of emotion throughout a ball game, and then seeing the guys suffer through losses and celebrate through wins.
And JB got to talk to the Eagle today. But the Eagle didn't land on his head, thank heavens. So now the clock ticks away. The Auburn band plays. The Alabama band on the far side is silent. Berger puts his knee down, and that'll do it. 7-4 for Alabama, 9-1-1 for Auburn. These messages.
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine tune your life. Nobody's gotta tell you. Emerson does it right.
Fine-tune your life with Emerson.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
I think little Kevin is ready for a radio-controlled car this year. I can see him now as his Radio Shack off-road wild champ takes to the hills, or maybe the Malibu 4x4 off-roader. It's got both 2- or 4-wheel drive. Or I could get him that Radio Shack Turbo Racer. It sure kicks up the dirt. Little Kevin would really like that.
Remote radio-controlled toys, $11.95 to $159.95. Only at Radio Shack.
Dear Pop, I know how anxious you must be to get this letter, but I think you'll find it was worth the wait. As you can see, he's got your eyes, your smile, even your stubborn chin. So we thought he should also have your name. Say hello to Jonathan Jr. Merry Christmas, Pop. We're coming home.
Christmas and Kodak.
You take a look again at the final score of today's 52nd meeting between Auburn and Alabama. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Derek Thomas of Alabama and freshman running back Stacy Danley of Auburn. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each school's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Let's go down to James Brown.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. I'm with Coach Dye, and Coach, you've been given an awful lot of credit for changing from a running game to a passing game, but today it was back to your most comfortable running game.
We ran the ball more tonight, but Alabama did an excellent job of taking away some of our stuff with the passing game, and we went back to the running game, and we couldn't have won the football game without it.
And, of course, you're back to your second Cotton Bowl. Make that Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl. Well, we're mighty happy about that, and this has been a fun football team to coach, a great group of kids, and we've had a little adversity, a few distractions, but the thing about it, I believe it brought them closer together, and they stayed together, and it was a great win here tonight, and I'm mighty happy for all Auburn people, and all. Coach Curry and his staff have done an excellent job. This game here tonight they had a great game plan for us and deserve a lot of credit. It was a hard-fought game and could have gone either way right down to the end.
And final question, Jim Lampley mentioned that it seems like you finally settled down. Now, you may be a permanent resident. You bought yourself a 1,000-acre ranch. Are you, in fact, settled in for good?
I was hoping when I came to Auburn that I could stay there as long as I was in coaching, and I hope I can.
Congratulations on your second trip to the Sugar Bowl. All right, Jim Lampley, let's take it back upstairs for you.
Thank you very much, JB. And as we have mentioned several times during the course of the day, tomorrow there's a great doubleheader of college football action here on CBS Sports. For a preview of those two games, again, James Brown.
The Seminoles and Gators is heating up.
There'll be a big war out there for 4 quarters, and you know, that's how it's going to be, and that's how it's been in the past, and I look for it to be the same way this year.
A bunch of mean, nasty guys that like to play a very tough brand of football, and they do a good job of backing up what they say.
I think you put Oklahoma, Miami, Florida State all in a bag and pick out one, you'd have a national champ.
Only this missed 2-point conversion against Miami has kept Florida State from an undefeated season. But the Seminoles can still end up #1 if they beat Florida and then Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl, while Miami loses to Notre Dame or South Carolina and then beats Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. Even a win may not help Syracuse because of their soft schedule.
They should be in a bid for the national championship, but they have to get past us first.
Getting by Emmitt Smith and company may not be easy. Smith is the nation's #1 freshman rusher, and State has lost 6 straight to the Gators.
I haven't beaten them since I've been here, and that's the only school that I've played and haven't never beaten in college. So, I mean, I like to go out a winner.
Game 2 of our doubleheader features the first meeting between Notre Dame and Miami since this debacle 2 years ago. A hurricane blowout that still leaves tempers flared.
There was like a minute left, and they were running reverses and doing all kinds of things to really make us look bad, to make us look like we were Division II and they were Division I.
You guys ran up a score on that one.
No,
You've heard that.
We didn't run up the score on them. You know, everybody says we run up the score because we passed the ball and stuff, but we didn't run up the score on them. If we wanted to run up the score, it would have been 80-0.
It was running the score up.
Miami's had 2 years to gloat, and the Irish haven't forgotten this feeling.
It's just a football game that's ultra important to millions of people. And it's something that we have 60 minutes to play and a lifetime to remember.
Well, Tim Brand, I think we found an honest man in the person of one Dan Sileo, Miami defensive tackle.
Saying absolutely. We did run up the score. That is honest.
I think you got to admire him. Told it like it was. We'll be back for more from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, right after this.
Light up the night. When the sun goes down, gonna light up the night. Silver label, red ribbon, taste that's right. It's gonna light up the night. Michelob Light. Gonna light up the night. Gonna light up the night. Gonna light up the night. My Michelob Light. Dreaming the dreams of America.
GMAC makes financing or leasing the new GM car or truck of your dreams easy. Just see your General Motors dealer. We'll help your dream come true.
The dreams of America. GMAC. We're making your dreams come true. The dreams of America. GMAC.
official sponsor of America's Dreams.
Well, we bring you back to Legion Field. I'm Jim Lampley along with Tim Brandt, where Auburn has just wrapped up its regular season with a 10-0 victory over Alabama that gives the Auburn Tigers their second Southeastern Conference championship in Pat Dye's 7 years in the loveliest village on the plains, and will send them back to the Sugar Bowl. A tight and well-played game, Tim, in which Alabama had the one chance down near the Auburn goal line after Derek Thomas blocked the punt, and then Auburn came back with a 99-yard drive, and that was the key to the ball game, along with Auburn's great ball control in the second half.
Jim, this is the best part of the ball game, is when you start talking about the things that happened and the things that could have happened and didn't happen. I mean, Derek Thomas, the guy we talked about in the pregame show, he comes through, makes the biggest play to that point in the ball game, and blocks a punt. Alabama's got 1st and goal inside the 10. They have 4th and goal at the 1. They run a play action, they don't get it done, so no points there. Now you come back the other way. Now, here's where they have a big play, a pass to Tillman. Jelks gets penalized 15 yards, and then they get it down close, and Auburn does score. So, you know, Harry Mose, he made the touchdown. But the play there, I think, was the big pass to Lawyer Tillman.
Indeed, Auburn pinned deep in their territory after Alabama had failed, and there's the pass from Berger to Tillman.
Now, we talked about the mismatched here, too, when they come with the blitz. We talked about Jelks being 5'11", Tillman being 6'4". Tillman had him beat, but he also used his height on Jelks, number 22. All right, now there's a flag thrown.
And that flag turned out to be a personal foul call against Jelks, and it was thrown so quickly that I'm not certain what it was for. Apparently, the official there thought that Jelks had gotten a face mask on Tillman.
All right, so then they come down close. Now, I want you to watch the guy on the right of your screen, number 25. That's Harry Mose. Scores from 5 yards out, gets a key block from the tight end, Lee Mark Sellers, number 84. See him? Just turn the contain man around, and then Mose just tap danced in from there.
And that was a preview of what Auburn was then able to do with the running game in the second half, when they kept the ball for more than 23 minutes. An amazing display of ball control by a team that had come into the game with a highly questionable running game.
All right, and Jim, here's another thing. We talked about this before the game began, too. We said that there's been inconsistency with Auburn. Ironically, they hadn't had a running attack. So what do? They come in and they establish the run when they needed it most, and that was in the second half. The other key to the ball game that we talked about was a running back has not gone for 100 yards against Auburn this year. And we said Bobby Humphrey averages 117. Well, he ends the ball game with 83 yards. So there again, he doesn't get it. Couple of keys there, and the ball game ends up 10-0 in favor of Auburn.
There was a little subsidiary drama when Alabama came in with quarterback David Smith, who had not played since September after breaking a collarbone. I guess they came a little bit too late with him, but he never really had an opportunity to get anything going.
Got to admit, I was pulling for him, too. Not so much against Auburn and for them to do something, but it was a profile and courage of a young man that came back. No one anticipated that he would be back for this ball game. He recovers quickly, tells the coach, hey, I want to play. They put him in the ball game.